Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Weekly Wildlife Wisdom. So far, I've been your host, Zero Yeti. Let's get into it with the first animal week being Andrewsarchus. It's an extinct genus of Artiodactyl that lived during the Middle Eocene in what is now Asia, some 47 to 37 million years ago. Holotype consisting of a nearly complete 2.75 foot or 2 3/4 foot or 84 centimeter long skull was recovered from the lower Erden-Manha Formation of Inner Mongolia by an individual by the name of Kan Chun Pao, aka Buckshot, during a 1923 paleontological expedition conducted by the American Museum of Natural History in New York. It was initially identified by Walter W. Granger as the skull of an entelodon. A drawing of the skull was sent to the museum, where it was identified by William Diller Matthew as belonging to the primitive Creodonta of the family Mesonychidae. The specimen itself arrived at the museum, but was described by Henry Fairfield Osborn in 1924. The generic name honors Roy Chapman Andrews, the leader of the expedition, with the ancient Greek archos, meaning ruler, being added to his surname. In 1957, Zhao Mingzhen and colleagues recovered a mandible, fragmentary maxilla, and several isolated teeth from the Lushu Formation of Henan, China, which roughly correlates in time to the Erden-Manha Formation. Zhao described it in 1959 as Paratrisodon hinensis and assigned it to Arctocyonidae. In 1978, Paratrisodon was synonymized with Andrewsarchus by Leigh Van Vallen. A second species of Andrewsarchus, a crassum, was named by Ding Suyin and colleagues in 1977 from a pair of teeth recovered from the Dongzheng Formation of Kingrexy in China. Andrewsarchus was initially regarded as a mesonychid and Paratrisodon as an arctocyanid. In 1995, the former became the sole member of its own subfamily, Andrewsarchinae, within Mesonychia. And it has since been recovered as a more basal member of the Cetacodontomorpha, and is closely related to entelodonts, hippos, and whales. When first describing Andrewsarchus, Osborn based the length of A. mongoliensis on the A. mongoliensis holotype skull using proportions of Mesoionics, and estimated the animal to be 12.5 feet or 3.82 meters in length and around 6.2 feet or 1.89 meters in height, making Andrewsarchus the largest terrestrial carnivorous mammal to ever live. However, considering cranial and dental similarities with entelodonts, Fredericks Sazali and Stephen J. Gould proposed that it had proportions less like mesonychids and more like entelodonts. And thus, it was estimated that Andrewsarchus would have reached around 10.5 feet, or 3.2 meters in length, 4.6 feet, or 1.4 meters tall at the shoulders, and around 1,760 pounds, or 800 kilograms in weight. Next up is Alpheus bellulus, better known as the tiger pistol shrimp. It is a species of shrimp that belongs to the Alphelidae family, known commonly as snapping or pistol shrimp. They are endemic to the Indian and Pacific Oceans, where they tend to inhabit tropical shallow waters with sandy, muddy, or detrital substrates, where they can construct elaborate burrows. Apologies, my eye is freaking out a little bit, so it's kind of hard to focus. My eyelid just keeps blinking a lot. I think it's probably stress from finals. Um, anyway, and they're notable for their symbiotic relationships with certain goby species, such as Cryptocentrus senectus, Amblio oleatrus gutata, and Obelia oleatrus japonica, and as well as stone ogobiops, yasha. In exchange for shelter in the burrow, the goby brings the shrimp food and acts as a watchman, warning of danger the shrimp cannot see due to their poor eyesight. The burrows are reinforced with small pieces of shell and coral along the sides, preventing collapse. Sediment is constantly removed by the shrimp in order to keep the eternal burrow clean of cell deposits. Mated pairs of shrimp often inhabit the same burrow, as do goby pairs. Some burrows of A. bellulus were also found to be shared by a specific species of porcelain crab, Inostoides lobatus, which live alongside both the shrimp and gobies as they work to clean the burrows of detritus. The tiger pistol shrimp is a carnivore, preying primarily upon small invertebrates. To hunt, the tiger pistol shrimp uses their oversized claws to produce powerful bubbles of air. Pressure builds up when the claw opens, and water enters the small chamber and the claws bend. The claw quickly clamps down, and a small plunger pushes the water out with high pressure, releasing a high-speed bubble. This bubble becomes a powerful sonic weapon and creates a violent shock wave, which can kill or knock out prey up to the size of a small fish. The sound emitted from the collapsing bubble can be up to 218 decibels, with a temperature of up to 4,800 degrees Celsius, just being slightly cooler than the surface of the sun. It may also eat detritus, carrion, and macroalgae. Reaching around 1.57 to 1.97 inches or 4 to 5 centimeters in length, not including the antenna, tiger pistol shrimp sports a stout and opaque body. The background color is white to pale yellow and are adorned with irregular but symmetric patterns which may be brown, purple, or orange in color, as well as red. The legs are banded with the same colors as the body and are covered in short bristles. The antennae are red, and under ideal conditions, the tiger pistol shrimp may live upwards of 5 years. Next up is grus, better known as the common crane, the Eurasian crane, or Lilford's crane. It is a large wading bird and the only crane commonly found in Europe besides the demoiselle and Siberian cranes, which are only found regularly in the far eastern part of the continent. A migratory species, common cranes breed during summer throughout Eurasia, with major breeding populations occurring in Sweden, Finland, Russia, northern China, Turkey, and the Caucasus region. They migrate seasonally, overwintering in India, Pakistan, Southeast China, Vietnam, Thailand, Burma, Sudan, Ethiopia, Tunisia, Eritrea, Spain, Portugal, Italy, and southern France. They tend to inhabit wooded swamps, bogs, and sheltered bays, as well as lakes and wetlands, but they may also be found in forests, savannas, and agricultural lands near rivers and ponds. They are omnivores, feeding upon roots, rhizomes, tubers, stems, not steam, leaves, nuts, seeds, fruits, particularly berries, worms, insects, arachnids, crustaceans, mollusks, small fish, amphibians, rodents, and small birds. Common cranes are themselves preyed upon by various eagles, falcons, wolverines, wild boar, feral dogs, jackals, and foxes. Reaching around 3.2 feet or 4.25 feet or 0.99 to 1.3 meters in length, around 6.6 to 13.4 pounds or 3 to 6.1 kilograms in weight, with a roughly 5.92 to 7.83 foot or 1.8 to 2.39 meter wingspan. The common crane is a medium-sized crane species. This species' coloration is primarily slate gray overall. The forehead and lores are blackish with a bare red crown and white streaking from behind the eyes and the upper back. The primaries and the tips of secondaries, as well as the alula, the tip of the tail, and the edges of the upper tail coverts are all black, with greater coverts drooping into explosive plumes. The juvenile has yellowish-brown tips of their body feathers and lacks the drooping wing feathers and bright neck pattern of the adult. These birds have a loud trumpeting call, and the common crane is a fairly social bird while not breeding, forming flocks of up to 400 strong during migration. Said flocks may also temporarily contain other crane species, as well as both white-fronted and bean geese. During these migratory flights, common cranes have been known to fly at altitudes of up to 33,000 feet, or 10,000 meters, making them the second highest flying bird species behind Ruppel's griffon vulture. A common cranes typically mate for life and breed throughout the summer as early as May. During such time, the pair construct a nest out of dense shore vegetation in or near very shallow water. Here, 1 to 4 eggs are laid, and the common crane parents will paint their bodies with mud or decaying vegetation in order to better blend well into their nesting environment. The incubation lasts around 30 days, and the chicks can run and swim after around 24 hours after hatching. They begin learning to fly short distances by 9 weeks. Under ideal conditions, a common crane will reach sexual maturity around 3 to 6 years of age and live up to 40 years. Next up is Cryptocentrus cinctus, better known as the yellow prawn goby or yellow watchman goby, is a species of bottom-dwelling goby fish native to the western Pacific, where it can be found at depths of 3.3 to 82 feet, or 1 to 25 meters along the bottoms of coastal bays and lagoons. These omnivorous fish feed primarily upon small invertebrates, carrion, detritus, and algae. They are notable for their keen eyesight and symbiotic relationship with certain pistol shrimp in the Alphiidae family, in particular the tiger pistol shrimp. In short, the pistol shrimp constructs an elaborate burrow in which the pair reside. In exchange, the goby helps maintain the burrow and protects the nearly blind shrimp from predators, as well as brings the shrimp food. Reaching around 3.9 inches or 10 centimeters in length, the yellow watchman goby sports an elongated body, large fins, and a big head, which wears a amusingly perpetual frown. These fish vary greatly in coloration, ranging from the brilliant yellow to gray, and even round forms or combinations of each coloring. This solid coloration provides a neutral backdrop that beautifully accentuates the spotted jewel-like pattern of spots that decorates the animal's head and fins. Apologies. Yellow watchman gobies are territorial and aggressive towards others of their own kind unless they form a mated pair. Said pair will often share a burrow with one or more of their bonded shrimp counterparts, and on occasion a small species of porcelain crab, Dinostavros lobatus. Under ideal conditions, the yellow prawn goby may live up to 10 years. Next up is Monticox revesi, better known as Reeves muntjac, or the Chinese muntjac. It is a species of muntjac found widely throughout southeastern China from Gansu to Yunnan, as well as Taiwan. It has also been introduced to the United Kingdom, Ireland, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Japan. It takes its name from John Reeves, a naturalist employed by the British East India Company in the 19th century, who first scientifically described the animal. Although generally solitary, Reeves muntjac may live in smaller familial groups outside of small, strict territories, which they mark with preorbital gland secretions that are thought to be pheromonal in nature. They prefer to inhabit forests and dense shrublands where they feed upon herbs, blossoms, succulents, shoots, fungi, berries, grasses, nuts, and occasionally tree bark, carrion, and eggs. They're also called the barking deer due to its distinctive barking sound, which the animal uses to both call for mates and to intimidate potential threats. Reaching around 3.5 feet or 1.1 meters in length and around 1.8 feet or 0.5 meters tall at the shoulder, around 22 to 40 pounds or 10 to 18 kilograms in weight. The Reeves muntjac are reddish-brown in appearance with striped markings on the face. The belly is creamy white with lighter fur extending to the neck, chin, and underside of the tail. Males have short antlers, usually 4 inches or 10 centimeters or less in length, and they have large upper canines called tusks, which are usually around 2 inches or 5.1 centimeters in length. Females have bony lumps on their foreheads and localized black spots. Breeding may occur year-round. After a 6 to 7 month pregnancy, a mother Reeves muntjac will give birth to a single fawn. Reeves muntjac grow quickly, becoming independent as little as 6 months. Under ideal conditions, a Reeves muntjac may reach sexual maturity around a year of age and may have upwards of 15. Next up, we have Inostodoides lobatus. It is a small species of porcelain crab in the family Inostodoides, which is endemic to the warm tropical shallow waters of the Indian and Pacific Oceans. These crustaceans are bottom dwellers, which feed primarily by combing plankton and other organic particles from the water using long, feathery, bristle-like structures on their mouth parts called setae. Elobatus, in particular, is notable for its symbiotic relationship with both pistol shrimp in the genus Alphis and goby fish in the genus Cryptocentrus and Amblyolistris. Amblyolistris. In short, the pistol shrimp constructs an elaborate burrow in which both the shrimp, goby, and crab all reside. In exchange, the goby helps to protect the nearly blind shrimp and minuscule crab from predators, and brings the shrimp food. As for Elobatus's role in the dynamic, these plain porcelain crabs work to help maintain the burrow and keep it clean from detritus. They may also act as additional sentries to watch for potential predators and other creatures that would threaten the trio. Reaching just 0.12 to 0.2 inches or 3 to 5 millimeters in body length, Elobatus sports a broad abdomen, comparatively large claws, and long, slender ambulatory legs. The carapace is typically either cream or reddish-brown in color, with a white to cream-colored abdomen. The chelicpeds and legs are red to brown, and whilst the setae are a light brown to tan in color. The breeding habits and life cycle of Elobatus are not well known, but like other porcelain crabs, it is believed that this species may live up to 5 years. And the last animal of the week is Anchisaurus, or Anchisaurus. It is a genus of basal sauropodomorph dinosaur, lived throughout what is now eastern North America during the early Jurassic period, some 200 to 192 million years ago. The first known remains of Anchisaurus were uncovered by Mr. Solomon Ellsworth Jr. in 1818 whilst excavating a well with gunpowder in East Windsor, Connecticut. At the time of their discovery, it was thought these bones might be those of a human, but the presence of a tail falsified that idea. In 1855, the type specimen of Anchisaurus was found by William Smith in Springfield, Massachusetts. I can never pronounce that state correctly. Massachusetts. During the blasting of yet another well, this time for the waterhouse of the Springfield Armory. Unfortunately, both the East Windsor and Springfield specimens were severely damaged due to being blasted with dynamite, and many of the bones were either accidentally thrown away by workmen, reduced to rubble, or kept by interesting onlookers. As a result, these dinosaurs were only known from incomplete fragmentary remains. In 1863, the son of ichthyologist Edward Hitchcock Jr., described the Springfield remains in a supplement to his father's work on fossil footprints, suggesting that they could explain a mysterious kind of reptile track. He contacted the British paleontologist Richard Owen, who advised him to name the finds as a new genus. Owen suggests the name Megalodactylus, meaning large finger in Greek, in reference to the enormous thumb of the animal. Hitchcock Jr. himself then chose the specific name POLYZELUS, meaning much sought after or sought for in Greek, referring to the fact his father had for many years vainly sought to discover the identity of the track maker. In 1877, Professor Othniel Charles Marsh had noticed that the name Megalodactylus was preoccupied, and in 1882 replaced it with the name Amphisaurus, meaning near saurian. In 1885, Marsh had discovered that this name had also been preoccupied by the Anthracosaurian Amphisaurus barcus in 1870. He then replaced it by the name Anchisaurus or Anchisaurus, with the same, which means has the same meaning. Meanwhile, nearly complete specimens have been found in Manchester, Connecticut. In 1887, a series of bridges were built over Hop Creek. Sandstone blocks were sought out of Wolcott's Quarry north of Buckland Station. In October 20th, an amateur paleontologist, Charles H. Owen, observed a block had been removed containing the hind part of a skeleton. He then warned Marsh, who, using T. A. Bostwick as an intermediary, acquired the piece from the quarry owner. Charles O. Wolcott and Marsh then tried to secure the front half of the skeleton, but had already been used in the bridge abutment. Eventually, when the bridge was demolished in August 1969, John Ostrom would save the block and reunite the two halves of the skeleton. Since then, several more specimens in varying degrees of completion have been recovered, and the animal reached around 6.6 to 13.1 feet, or 2 to 4 meters in length, and around 44 to 70 pounds, or 20 to 32 kilograms in weight. Meaning Anchisaurus or Anchisaurus was rather small for a sauropodomorph dinosaur. According to the presence of autosome tracks in the Connecticut Valley, Anchisaurus may have reached even greater sizes, with the largest known footprints indicating an animal that was around 20 feet or 6 meters in size. Hey y'all, recently we here at Factutainment were asked to join Andy Roo's gaming gang and do a big multi-channel fundraiser for children's miracle hospitals. Thus we have partnered with them and the charity Extra Life to raise money for families in need. There will be a donation link to our fundraiser in the video description down below. Now we know things are rough and times are tight, and so there is no pressure to donate if you can't afford to. But if you can, just know that every dollar you donate will directly help out some folks who need it now more than ever. As always, take care of my guys, gals, and non-binary pals.